As we discussed the role of Wialon in telematics and the IoT projects. You know, yesterday we've been at the GITEX show. We've been preparing our booth as good as we could, but I mean it was almost not yet ready. So we went to Jumeirah Beach. Obviously, it was Friday, right? So, yeah. So we went to Jumeirah Beach, and after having some swim there, I asked that question to Olga Flonchu. And who's brave enough to answer that question that I asked to Olga after swimming at Jumeirah?
Olga is a superwoman, nobody can dare it.
Okay, then you'll have to answer that question. Do you think, Olga said, but it's for you, Samir, and for the rest of the crowd here, do you think we can consider Wialon and our business to be a part of IoT, what they call right now, or we are somewhere out of IoT, the modern world?
Okay. Few years ago, we started using Wialon as an IoT entry to many solutions to our clients. For example, to control lighting within our offices, as to demonstrate the capability to our salespeople to really understand what's coming, what's the challenges. We are not a contemporary tracking service providers. We can provide solutions, so most the easy part for them is to give them samples of what we can do. So we've installed tracking devices in a box. We covered the tracking device in a box, and we could control the light. We could control and read the generator status of our data center, and as well we can read the sensor. See, the idea is for us to transform it to our sales really to be convinced that we can go beyond tracking. With the presentation of FLESP now, and the realizations of we can read many protocols of many hardware, IoT hardware manufacturers, we can come up with identified protocols for systems and platforms to play with it. Now the challenge comes with the front end. What do you do? Meter energy monitoring, analysis, big data analysis, analytics, what's so on. So my question would be, yes, we can consider it a good foundation of IoT solutions.
Okay, thank you, Samir. With what you're telling us right now, we then should think that general part of the business, like the 80% of the units connected you have to be alone, would not be that lightings and other stationary
Sensors.
units. Yeah.
What about that part? I mean, I have that report of IoT projects realized all over the world, and we see that connected buildings we have here and connected cars are something about like 30% of all IoT projects are about vehicles. So is it where Wialon plays a role or not? Yeah.
I say yes.
Yes.
We've already sold solutions based on Wialon, but not representing them as a vehicle. We've installed sensors for drugstores, for companies that are having to store medicines in a certain room temperature and a same humidity level. And they have labs, certified companies to come and calibrate or not calibrate, to make sure that the readings that we are getting for them is within the acceptable range of their conditions and regulations. We've also sold sensors to read the diesel and tank levels at stationary complex buildings, malls, and so on. So we are promoting our services not based on vehicle and vehicle tracking.
Okay.
Yes, we do that.
Okay, thank you. And what about Rajiv? What do you think if we are adding video solutions on the top of fleet management and vehicle tracking? Does that lead us to IoT way or somewhere else?
So I'll answer your first question, what you asked to
Olga.
So, when we say IoT, IoT is a new word.
Yeah.
But telematics or tracking, this has been there for years. And this has been the basis of entire IoT platform. So we cannot ignore telematics when we say IoT.
Exactly.
Yeah. So to me, IoT comes as a bigger space, which has just joined in because of internet, because of so many other technologies, so many other sensors talking to the same platform. Maybe the market has become 100 times. In years to come, you will have each and every thing connected to internet, and it's going to be all about connected devices. Video, of course, will play a very important role because visual verification and evidence, what you can get with video, you cannot get with any other sensor. But of course, video has its own technology transition and challenges. It requires much heavy processors, so the IoT devices or the MDVRs, these are much more expensive. These require more power. The environmental conditions are different. And the bigger challenge on the video side, although it is being called IoT, so for IoT we do have a platform such as Wialon where 1500 plus devices can connect to, but for video it is not all that simple. For every manufacturer as of today, the communication protocol is different. So with Wialon we are safe. Today one hardware manufacturer is not supporting, we can easily change the hardware not to lose the customer. But with video we have to be very careful when we choose the partner because not only it is a heavy investment, but we can't afford to lose the customer. There are transition happening already on the video side. There is on-ref standard in the all real estate industry which is moving. Slowly probably it will move into IoT and telematics space also, which will make things simpler. So yes, video will play a very important role in telematics and IoT.
But you also believe that telematics can be counted as a part of IoT?
Of course. Telematics is the basis of IoT. It has been there for years. Today, IoT has just started because of wireless communication, but when it comes to telematics, we've been doing wireless communication for years.
Yeah, we've just been never calling it IoT, right?
Yes.
IoT is kind of like new words that came into our language, right?
The big players, when they step into the market, they want something related to them, Internet of Things.
Yeah. And that also gives us that problem. Milan, in your presentation you said about chip industry challenge that we face, right? IoT and how do we position our businesses or our services? And you remember the discussion we had in Minsk at our working group, right, with Gurtam and others when we discussed how we can position ourselves differently from just vehicle tracking, which is chip industry challenge, and provide other businesses. Would be calling our services as IoT services for fleets help us in a way? What do you think?
There is one even IoT is a word that is strange even to us here. I don't know how many people knows how to explain it. We will all say, but then what Internet of Things, what discussed about. And could you imagine how it is for customers? Like IoT, doesn't mean anything at all.
Would it be easier than telematics? Telematics also says a lot to potential customers, you think?
Basically, in Latin, the biggest number of countries would say about this something like GPS tracking business. And that's going down. That's the cheapest thing is even when you're working with customers, let's say diesel generators or things like that. For that thing, it's cool for them to be expensive. It's okay. But on vehicle, GPS tracking shouldn't be cheap. It should be cheap. Everything else, it's okay. And in matter of IoT, when you look structure of solution, you know my background, my previous company. If you look structural solution, for example, alarm monitoring, alarm systems, CCTV, it is so similar to structure of the things that we are dealing with. It's basically the same. Alarm central and GPS device have basically same structure, extremely similar structure. And what they do with software is extremely similar. All of those products are extremely similar. Sometimes we need to change vehicle to house to get solution for our monitoring of house. With Wialon, yeah. It just we need to integrate the DEMCO code. All alarm centrals will work on Wialon, and we will do sensoring what is which room and this and that. It's extremely similar, but that terminology, that is a fact. Terminology killing us. Nobody knows what it is.
We are those who also define that terminology on our websites, in our brochures, in our GITEX booth. Yeah, I mean, last year it says, or when we, like 8 years ago, when we first started it in CIVIT, it said, start your own GPS tracking business. That's what our rollout said.
Basically,
now we are out of GPS here.
Basically, we have a huge competition, new competition coming from area, like I said in presentation, that field service management. Basically, these are our competition. They are doing the same as we do, usually using the mobile applications for things like that. But these are the strongest competitors, and sometimes they sell much more expensive than we do, because it's some fancy application with some fancy analytics or whatever. Like you said in Minsk, John had, I think John, he had excellent ideas on that topic. He's fighting in that direction, the way he have a different name for every single action. If we are calling that GPS, he would call it different way. And it's excellent, it's beautiful. That is the way to fight. We are like locked in some loop of terminology and might be bad competitors and some bad behavior. And because of that, we're all suffering and trying to sell something for free.
So being now a consultant for companies, also co-present here for fleet owners, for big corporations, can you advise all service providers here to, get rid of GPS tracking terminology from their websites in order to step into different market and to compete with companies like Titan Service or others who are providing vertical solutions with some GPS there?
Basically, we are all in business of solving problems to others, to our customers. As big problem is solved, bigger money for us. If client perception is, the problem is, where are the vehicles? They wish to give less money for that, then to solve them whole structure of processes on the field and whole reporting, delivering schematics, whatever, field work. Basically, if you solve them field process, they say, cool. If you give them solution with where is the vehicle, that's something completely different. But more and more on the market, in Europe at least, end-to-end solution are going quite well. End-to-end solution, a solution for companies in matter of, let's say, if you have trucking company, a solution from GPS and fuel to TMS or VMS, even everything connected together. That is like what customers currently might be some new tiny trend. What customer likes is like to come there and solve everything end-to-end solution and everything works together. And through that scheme, it's possible to take much more money for fleet.
And that's what we are all interested in, right? From the same fleet,
basically.
better and bigger.
But it is, value is relative. It is all about perception of value from the side of the customer.
The perception depends on how you offer that product to the customer.
Yeah, for example, if some SAP integrator offer fleet, it would be cool to cost 25 euros per vehicle, but if somebody else do that, it won't. It would be normal to cost 10, whatever.
To quickly answer your last questions, in our material, brochures and documentations, we shifted the word of GPS tracking to the third and the fourth word in our main. So we mentioned IoT, telematics, and then comes GPS tracking and fleet management to support our positioning of our company in the market as a solution provider.
That's you what have right now?
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Guys, what about your experience as personal? Like Secure is having a GPS also, but it's a part of a bigger service that you provide that your colleague was telling us about, right?
Yeah, so I find that most of our requirements are customer driven. So when the client comes to us with a certain requirement, we start with the basic building block of GPS tracking, and then start adding on bits and bobs extra, whether or not it's driver behavior, seatbelt sensors, anything, and then bring in IoT into that with certain devices that communicate by themselves back in, temperature sensors and things like that. But this is just another building block that we can communicate with the client. Do you need this? Do you actually require this? Is it just GPS tracking and a panic you want in security way? Most of the time that would be sufficient. Some people then want the driver behavior. Oil and gas compliance, it requires it. So depending on the client that we are approaching or is approaching us, we will build a solution to them. And it's very similar with Wialon itself, is that you start with, you have the dot on the screen, and then you start building out the tabs with the I suppose the capabilities that you can add in. I think Securo has 7 white label versions, some of them very light versions, some of them the full solution. So for us, with the clients and IoT, telematics, and the rollout Wialon is basically using all 3 of them to communicate with the client to build a solution rather than give them something ready made out of the box.
Okay, that's clear. What's your opinion?
My opinion is, I think Wialon is, of course, IoT. If Wialon is not IoT, what is IoT? Wialon connect everything. Whenever we had a problem, you have to keep in mind that if Wialon doesn't implement something, that doesn't mean Wialon cannot do it. Wialon can do it through using API. Just it cannot make everything prepared for the partners. Everyone can build anything with Wialon using the API. We have heavily used API 3 years from now and make many progress using the API, and not every customer can make use of just Wialon features. Okay, Wialon features is very different and can do many things, but API can do more and much more than the already prepared features. So if you don't have a developer in your company, I suggest you get a developer and work with API, and we are waiting for Wialon Space, of course, that will encourage this idea and make the development and mobile applications and the special projects all depends on the API and ZK.
Okay, thank you. I would like to. Oh yeah, we are really happy for the words. If Wialon is not IoT, what is IoT? That would be the second best explanation from our meetings after the mission slides from.
What's the best?
Yeah, you're getting the canteen. If you have one. Okay, and if you forward that question to the audience, yes, how do you position your business here? Like, do you really use IoT terminology, IoT as a word to describe the business or the services that you offer to your customers? So do you have, like Mike here? Okay, Charles, what do you think? Yeah. Yeah, in relation to IoT, do you use that words to communicate to the customers?
Most clients don't know what is IoT anymore.
Do they know what telematics is?
Yeah. So a lot of the clients still, use normal GPS tracking. So
Normal GPS tracking.
IoT is when you meet with the government, they tell you, yes, we want IoT, but they
It
don't
means
know
nothing,
what
yeah. IoT is everything and nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So you tell them you have IoT.
But then, I mean, if you are just offering them GPS tracking, yeah, or GPS, then that brings you to competition to customers, to companies, to services that are really low-level service, which is not even comparable to Wialon, right?
Yeah, you have to show them the difference of you know, like you said, you can connect any sensor and anything. So yeah, so it's very different than GPS tracking. It's evolving, but still, I think you know, they want everything, but when you implement, they only implement a little bit. That's my experience.
Okay.
With Wialon, we can say the sky is the limit. Whatever is required, we work on it and we'll do it. Right?
That's good, yeah.
IoT or PS, we'll get it from them.
You see, it really depends on us how we position the service and what we offer to the customers. When it comes to the projects, Wialon and IoT projects, what do you see the biggest, challenge of competitor that offers the service that you cannot right now have with Wialon? Yes, everything is really possible. Okay.
Might be few tiny things. From time to time, something appears.
Mm-hmm.
Then Google,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
that appears.
Mm-hmm.
Except that, you have developers.
Mm-hmm.
No, it could be something. It could only be that they have finished
Mm-hmm.
something before us, and
Mm-hmm.
we need some additional time. But Wialon is today, in this day, quite flexible and good luck. The API is making it like to be top shelf.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Rajiv, you have that extra, development that you've done yourself for video telematics. Generally, how do you feel, and Neil and others, the question is for you as well, the percentage of the solutions that should be created by a local integrator or service provider in comparison to what you can get, from Wialon by default? Or how much should an integrator or service provider add on the top of Wialon to be competitive right now?
So, first of all, Wialon as a fleet management system, it's a complete fleet management system. There is hardly anything which is not available in this. When it comes to custom development, it's of course, there are certain specific region-based use cases where it requires development and where it requires API integration and integration with third party. As Milan said, we have to be very careful when we get into development. The cost of development is not so easy. There are 10 different technologies and you need to hire 10 different engineers. So whether you do it in-house or whether you get it from outside, this is going to be a long journey. And then maintenance, which is most important. Building an application sometimes is easy, but maintaining that application and growing that application to support 1.7 million devices is not so easy, right? So when we build a feature, today we are building it for maybe say 5,000 devices, we have to be careful, how do we support that when we reach 25,000? How do we support that when we reach 50,000? So we have to balance based on the business needs and the way market is growing and the way market is accepting it.
To add what Milan said and Rajiv is, we have to accept that there is a challenge to our market. And when we opened the door for IoT, we invited so many competitors, so many business disruptors, the developers who are making mobile apps. So it's what we can do, or you asked the question of what can Wialon do to adopt these challenges. I think it started from the idea of opening the APIs, providing SDKs, introducing FlexSpeed, and the idea of space. That's the vision of the challenging and changing the mindset. For us, the integrator, we have to either sit down with the people who are challenging us at the moment and understand what are their clients' needs, what are the market disrupting features being introduced, and try to build on something very robust that we have. We have a good product, but we need to change our mindset to accept the other needs that in the past we used to be the competitors for it and find the argument, sentences and the marketing counter arguments to push them away from our clients. The gap is now closing very rapidly. And the big players that are stepping in the market, Huawei, Google, all the ISPs, especially in the big markets, eventually they will come to our markets and they will face us. We need to be ready for them to accept what's coming with them. And when they see us prepared, as one Alexander once told me, when they see us much prepared, both experience, market share, know-how, they will sit down with us and negotiate rather than enforce their business model. I mean, this is one part of an optimistic idea to look at the challenges coming in. I faced this issue in Jordan, and one of our ISP worked with me for months to provide with a smart home solution that will be connected to their routers. They will be eventually sending data. And they wanted to connect the smart home solution to be connected to their router. When the data plan is finished, the router would be locked and would not work with those smart home sensors. And we came to a very good manufacturer and they accept, and we started negotiating with the hardware manufacturer, the router manufacturer. Unfortunately, they were Huawei. It turned out that Huawei, they have a platform for themselves, an IoT platform. Smart, very easy, graphical interface, energy monitoring, and so on. So this IoT started looking at what is tracking compared with Huawei. So I introduced Wialon and Flisby at the same time. And we showed them that we are not Huawei, but we can deliver you the same value with a different approach, however, same results will be. The challenge is there, yes, and we have to be prepared for it.
That's good that you have something to counter-offer in that cases when big companies are stepping into our market, right?
I hope it works. Still we negotiate.
Well, I believe in your language you use IoT word a lot, like, right? I mean, the smart city and smart Dubai is everything about the smart here. What's the opinion?
Okay, I like the whole debate, especially what Mary said about verticals and the specialty. Because right now we see, for example, in Dubai, food ordering service is very common. And the business model for these guys, they like get 1 dirham or 2 dirhams per each delivery. So imagine comparing this with the existing platform cost that we are selling. We see a lot of leverage into that. And if we look at such service, comparing with the whole portfolio that Gurtam is offering, we see this is a very specific issue. Same goes for logistics, the same goes for Ningwas, like passenger transportation. Some guys, they're offering 1 dirham per passenger per month. So I think it's the time to do a lot of specialty, to build verticals into that. Coming to Sasha's question about IoT, I think everything is getting integrated together. If you look at the perspective of intelligent transportation solution, then again, we're working on several projects in which we are integrating gate barriers with vehicles coming in and pushing this to web. This one of the main common sort of requirement that we're working with fleet operators particularly. So I think, with the existing of Flisby, then it makes more sense to integrating different sensors, like grid, like houses. I remember in last August, I went with Alexei lab and he showed me some smart stuff using Wialon for home automation. So I think we are in an industry where a lot of integration coming up between different other industries. I agree with the guys into telematics, for somehow it's like becoming like some sort of cheaper solution compared with others. So that's why we get into the whole concept of either IoT or ITS, which way we position ourselves in the market right now.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Walid, for very good opinion here. So you believe still that, you're talking about the complexity and like the future projects that you will develop that will bring us closer to ITS, yeah, intelligent transportation and stuff, right? So for now, we still need to. Do you see the chance? All of you have a big number of vehicles connected that you have connected probably years and years ago. Do you see the chance that you will upgrade them for newer technologies and offer them some extra services that comes together with Wialon or some third-party solutions that are available on the market today? Or you would just look for the new customers that are not using Wialon right now? What's the easiest way or beneficial way for you here?
The easiest way is to build on the current lines, because the cost of maintaining current lines is much cheaper than getting a new one. However, to what extent we can offer on the existing technology and devices we use, I see it very minimal. Sensors, cameras, mobile DVRs, ADAS. I can't see now anything more than that. For future, the sky is the limit. Yes, we will keep looking into added verticals that we can provide to our clients, both in terms of accessories, reports, special reporting schemes, more intelligent, maybe find a way with the utilizing the big data, the analytics of the results of it, artificial intelligence. That's in my opinion, the proper path that we have to look deeply into.
Okay, thank you.
One thing I think we need to probably debate some time and think about it is connected cars. The OEM car manufacturers coming out with smart cars with ready apps, all telematics built in. You can track, you can get all vehicle telematics data. I think in the next 2 years, we will see majority of the car manufacturers moving in that direction, at least when it comes to consumer vehicles, motorbikes and cars. So we need to be thoughtful on that. Maybe we will need to focus on a different market of commercial vehicles and
So you say that it would limit our market, or we can benefit somehow or from the vehicles that come already out connected with the SIM card and a transferring device, and we will have them integrated in our solution if you will be able to offer them some extra services rather than what they can have already from the factories.
Automobile manufacturers, they have big pockets, they have a lot of public money. So for us to compete with them, it may not be so easy. So, but the market is growing, human population is growing, urbanization is growing, so there will be enough room for everybody. And technology is changing every day. We don't know. Maybe there's a different technology launched next year.
If I can add something about those guys with big pockets, car manufacturers, and I've been looking on that topic for a few years in the past, but it's very strange how hard it is for big players to enter this industry. It's enormously hard. If, for example, if Samsung wished to introduce a telematics device, that lasts for years. And it's cancelled, and it's cancelled, and it's prolonged. If I was watching some OEMs developing their own fleet platforms, and it wasn't easy for them. It's Wialon is now here where it is. It's going to be hard for any disruptor from that industry to achieve what Wialon have in this moment. It's not easy to do. It might look for us that is, it's not, at the end it's not so expensive, we can have it, we're dealing with it, and it looks like some regular stuff. For other guys, it's not so easy to do.
That sounds inspiring.
No, really, in fact, if somebody tell me that he knows some OEM device and platform that works smoothly like this and have all features like Wialon, have a dinner from my side.
So you're looking for one? But I hope they're not. Guys, can you have a microphone here?
Thank you guys, and all of you have joined, and probably Rory can answer this question best. As you rightly said, the automobile manufacturers are coming into this game, but they're also going to be our partners in a very different way. As lithium polymer batteries are going to get better and prices are going to drop, there's going to be another sector that's going to open up, which is wearables. And Rory, your company is already coming up with devices, fully contained devices that can do these things. I don't want to name certain clients or anything. Just that in your experience, what has been the acceptability of such devices into the market, and the ease of using Wialon as a backend, as well as the protocol that you have already implemented on those devices. How easy has it been, and what is the future of such wearable technologies that is going to be coming into the market quite soon, like watches and small personal tracking devices?
Sure. So basically the requirement came out, and again, remaining reactive to client requirements. This requirement actually came out of Libya for us, where lots of personnel, well, saying lots of personnel, that's pretty subjective, but personnel were getting kidnapped, and having personnel trackers on you, be it satellite, be it a pocket buddy that's quite small, it's pretty obvious it's a tracking unit. And the militias in Libya basically, they don't enjoy the fact that they think that somebody just pressed a panic alarm. There could be a response unit on the way, so they tended to get a bit violent, and some people got pretty badly hurt throughout this. This is in the last couple of years. So we were approached by a number of clients, one in particular just to say, look, can you try and find a low-key solution that's not going to be taken off someone, if it is taken off someone, that's not going to be so obvious that it's a tracking unit. So we shopped around, we tried a few things. We have a very active R&D department that try a lot of new devices out. And eventually we've come up with it's a Chinese made, I'll say, device that is wearable, but it looks similar to an Apple Watch or something like this. So it's not straight away identified as a tracking unit. It's got call capability, a little bit James Bond, and it's got panic function. Up to three cascading phone numbers to call. So if one doesn't pick up, it will automatically go to the second, automatically go to the third. So how easy was it to integrate with the Wialon platform? I'll have these guys probably answer it later on for you, but very simple. It was one of our quickest integrations, and we're finding that our clients across the globe, from Afghanistan to Libya to parts of Africa that support DC GSM, then yeah, it's becoming very, very popular. It's something that is definitely, I believe, going to become more prevalent as a personnel tracking solution.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any more questions from the audience here? Okay, I think that...
Could I ask a question as audience?
Yeah, sure.
To ask audience a question.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah, question is because I'm really inspired by these, we were mentioning these OEMs and production of that. Question is, if somebody can help me, if some of you, I don't know, if some of you is expert for CAN bus or things like that, must be some of those here in the room. We know that car manufacturers didn't agree about OBD for last, how many, 30 years. And it's a completely mess. Is there any chance that one day they will agree about common application for managing vehicles on it? That's like a question. If Nisha could answer it.
It's too easy for Nisha.
Fundamentally,
It was a rhetorical question, I think, no?
I mean, are you actually asking that question? Should I answer that?
Yeah. Question for you.
Fundamentally, CAN, J1939 protocols, they're not really developed for GPS tracking or telematics. It was a diagnostics interface for the manufacturers to use to diagnose the vehicle itself. So it is there legally and technically. It is for them to use, for the manufacturer to use. I'm actually playing the devil's advocate here. The reason why they have protected that is to prevent talk back to the device. You can essentially talk back to the device using the OBD2 interface. So some of the German manufacturers have blocked all but probably 10 or 15 open values. But the rest of it, you can actually change the fuel mixture, you can change the type of fuel that the vehicle is using, you can actually change the gearing ratio. That is probably why they're very cautious about it. However, there are new standards that are coming up. Various conglomerates are thinking of coming up with something for telemetry outside the OBD2 standards. Now, there are some ISO Bureau Veritas documents that have been published, which talks about some sort of standardization for telemetry per se. So, probably in the next 4 or 5 years, when this is really necessary and it becomes part of infrastructure planning and smart cities and all kinds of connected systems, it is inevitable that we will need to have some sort of an agreement on this. Regardless of what Mercedes or Nissan or Toyota or whoever says that, those standards will be outside the scope of CAN. It will not probably be even CAN. It will be something outside that.
And if I can, one additional tiny one. It's when you expect that those manufacturers will be competition to us?
Let me add this, Milan. Last September, last year, 2017, I was in San Francisco for the Mobile World Conference. And I attended a seminar for one of the highest ranking directors in this topic, the connected vehicles, IoT, etc., etc. From Verizon. Verizon bought one of the top 2 leading service providers in the US. And he said, now we are in talk with Qualcomm. Qualcomm is one of the biggest manufacturers in the chipsets. And they are injecting their visions and ideas for what's coming next in the IoT and telemetry. Now we are connected, we are talking about vehicle to vehicle. Verizon and Qualcomm is working on chipsets, vehicle to X. X could be in smart cities, light poles, garden seat, traffic light, a bus, a pet. Eventually, the vision is to be Internet of the things, everything will be connected. So the vehicles, we will be talking to vehicles, to a dog crossing the street, a light pole in that position. That's where they are going to. So when it's coming, when I don't know. Regulations, it's, as you said, they have been for 30 years. Nobody's agreed on one standard, but they will somehow, the big pockets companies, so one body will come to them and say, sit down and let's agree on a sort of on a standard, but it will be coming.
Everybody connect on Wialon and that's it.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we are running out of time, guys, and thank you for participation. What I would say at the end that I mean tomorrow and during the week we're gonna visit GITEX. I've just searched the website and I found over 50 companies for IoT search. There on GITEX. I believe if you walk through the show, you'll find even more companies. Let's learn what's really IoT in their meaning, but we really here, we know what's IoT and our role there. And I believe that it depends on us how we define our position here, how we change our business models to have the part in the future business. As there is a quotation by Ayn Rand that you can avoid reality, but you cannot avoid the consequences of avoiding the reality. And as Samir, you rightly said, that reality is here, and everything's going to be connected. Vehicle to vehicle, vehicle to everything. And let's together develop our businesses in a way that we will have a right part in it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alexander and the team for this panel discussion.